Hello dear chess friends, my name is Marko Makaj, I am FIDE master from Croatia, and today I make this video for great chess teaching site Remote Chess Academy. Topic for this video will be Mikhail Tal. So, who was great Mikhail Tal? He was the Russian Soviet Grandmaster born in Riga at 9th November 1936. He died 55 years later at 28 June 1992. Mikhail Tal was the Grandmaster and the 8th World Chess Champion from 1960 to 1961. He was widely regarded as a creative genie and one of the best attacking players in the world from that time, and I believe even of the old time. He has two nicknames. The first one was Misha, and the second one was the magician from Riga. This was a really entertaining nickname, and it was because he was one of the best magician in chess. The title of the Grandmaster he reached in 1957, and his peak rating at January 1980 was 2,705 points. In his career, Tal won dozens of very strong tournaments. In my opinion, the best tournament that he won was a very strong tournament at Zurich in 1959. And then following the interzonal, the top players carried on the candidate tournament in Yugoslavia 1959. Tal showed some superior form by winning with 20 out of 28 points ahead of great Paul Keres, Tigran Petrosian, Vasily Smyslov, and even, in this time, 16 years old Bobby Fischer. In 1960, at the age of 23, Tal thoroughly defeated the Mikhail Botvinnik, the 7th world champion in Moscow, and became the 8th world champion of this time. Now I will show you two games from Mikhail Tal. The first one he played at Hamburg, the 4th August 1960, against the close Viktor Dagger. He was white in this game and played the first move e4. After Dagger played c5, knight to f3, e6. You can see that he chose at that time very active Sicilian defense with white pieces, and even black play very actively here. So after knight d4, knight f6, knight c3 and d6, we reach so-called Scheveningen Sicilian, where white can play very aggressively or also try to play slightly more positional game. At this time, Tal was a great attacker, and he won with mating attacks all kind of the games with white and with black. He was really aggressive, and he was not fear at sacrifice the material or using all kind of the force against the opponents. But here he played even the move which was, and it is now today, very positional move in this position. So white wants just to make secure space for his king on the king side. He wants to fianchetto this light square bishop on g2 and then proceed from there. Is slightly more positional approach in this position and more aggressive today the advance of f pawn can be, and with this setup white can try to play for more aggression than he usually play in this game. But Misha, or the magician from Riga, has his own reasons why he played g3, and he was such a great attacking player that he can start to build the attack from nothing. And you will see here, even at this game, how he managed to do this. So black played very natural move a6, bishop came to g2, queen came to c7, and after castle and bishop to e7, Misha of course played f4. So very obvious reason white wants to start the activity in the center and try to make something with move e5. For now he doesn't have developed the dark square bishop and the rook from a1, but he has this in his mind, and he knows how to attack, so his setup was very natural. And now black played knight to c6. Once again, very natural response to this setup from white, mainly black aiming to exchange one of the pieces and then try to establish the equality by developing all the other pieces. And if you look at this position now, it is very equal one. Today in the theory you can see all kind of the moves, and white mainly aiming for moves such as bishop e3 or knight to b3. At this time Misha have something else in his mind, and in this game he take the knight on c6. And in a first look you can see that it's not the most natural one, because it looks like, okay, black will take with b pawn, secured somehow even more the space and the center, because now the d5 square is even better defended by the c and of course the e pawns. And then all three pawns, e6, d6 and c6, are very naturally placed, and black has even better position in the center. But Tal was such a great attacker, and he always finds the way how to improve his position and start the attack on the opponents. Here in this position he take on c6 because of the one reason that he has. He instantly pushed the pawn to e5. Now this looks like the pawn sacrifice, because the e5 pawn is now twice attacked by black pieces. Now d5 is very natural response, f takes on e5, and now black play knight to d7. It's obvious that black can take the pawn on e5, but this is not good, because after bishop takes on c6, Tal will win the rook on a8, and of course with this move he will win the game. So of course the black is also very strong player, and he decided to play knight to d7 and once again attack the pawn on e5 and creating some pressure in the center. Tal played bishop to f6, very nice move. He developed the last minor pieces that it's undeveloped for now on c1, and also of course he defended the pawn on e5. And now black castle, once again very natural response, and knight to e4. So now you can see what white achieved at this point. He managed to get the bishops on very strong positions. Those bishops now control a wide range and almost two vital diagonals in the position. The third piece, this knight on e4, is also the piece that can reach the squares like d6, or at some points even the f6, and try to creating mating attack on the black king on the king side. Now black is on the move, and he has also few of the moves that can be played here. The move that black make now, it's not the best one, it's not the worst one, but it's somehow not the move that will compensate some kind of the less space for black. The most, let's say, best option here for black will be to play for instance, rook b8. Why rook b8? At first it looks like that black wants to take the pawn on b2, but this is not only thing that black can do. Something else that is here also very important is that black can get with this rook on the b5 square, where he will play on the 5th rank, and potentially this rook will defend the knight when he take the pawn on e5. And this was the right moment to start playing in this game. After the move that black make, bishop to b7, he makes his position slightly worse, because now the rook from a8 will be not attacking piece, and you can see that bishop on b7 is not the best placed piece. So now white has slight more option in the attack, and also he can create some kind of retreats against the black king. Again, one very attacking move, queen to h5, where white try to bring as many pieces as he can near the black king. g6, okay, queen goes back to e1, and now c5. Very, very natural move, because if black bring this bishop to b7, then the knight on e4 or potentially the bishop on g2 can be exchanged at some point. Now Tal play his move very aggressively. He bring the knight to f6 closer to the king, and he wants to see how black will react. The only move that is here good is the bishop takes on f6, because if knight, for instance, take on f6 after e takes on f6, objectively black will lose the piece, because the queen is hanging, the bishop on b7 is hanging, and the bishop on e7 is hanging. So bishop takes on f6, e takes on f6, now the queen is hanging, and e5. And it looks like black is perfectly fine, but now Misha show his fighting ability and the ability to get some kind of the unbalanced position even more. So he takes with bishop to e5, and after knight takes on e5, he takes the bishop on b7, rook goes from a to b8, because of course if queen takes on b7, white will be able to take on e5, and now those very bad dark squares around the black king will make this life very uncomfortable for him. So rook a to b8, and now bishop to d5. And now you can see that, okay, black has natural knight on e5, but white has very strong bishop on d5 and very important pawn on f6. So white is better, but now after the mistake, rook b6, with the next very nice combination, white wins the game. You can try to see it at your own and stop the video, but now I will show you, and I will show you how Misha win this game. Rook a to e1, now the knight on e5 is hanging, knight goes to d7, and now queen e7. c4, king h1, white doesn't want to get some check on c5, rook b2, and now great move, and the move that showed the ability of Tal, rook to e6. Now black is completely lost, and after rook b to b8, rook d6, rook b d8, rook d1, and of course black resign. Let's go now to the next game. The second game is his game against none other than Vasily Smyslov, that they was played at Yugoslavia on 1959. The opening is not so attractive, so I will go mainly for a couple of moves. e4, c6, Smyslov play the Caro-Kann, d3, very unattacking response, but you'll see how easy he can open the center later on. d5, knight d2, e5, and then knight g to f3, knight d7, and d4. So with some delay, white open the center and show some kind of the aggression. d5, d4, knight d4, c d4, queen d4, very natural moves. Knight g to f6, now bishop to g5, bishop e7, and of course Tal always tried to attack the opponents, and he played castle on the queen side. After castle on the king side, knight d6 was his move, and some kind of the pressure in the center on d6 square, and of course potentially on the king side, white here wants to establish. Queen a5, bishop to c4, defending the a2 pawn, and now b5. And now white has here few choices. The computer suggestion, of course, those days is, of course, bishop takes on f7, but in this time Tal play bishop to d2, very natural response. He wants to get away this queen from a5 in order to neutralize some kind of the pressure on the queen side. Queen to a6, and now knight to f5. And now this is the moment when I want to show you something else in Tal's games, or his ability to unbalance the position. So first of all, you can see that potentially the bishop on c4 is hanging. He doesn't want to take on f7 and unbalance the position on this way, but he wants to bring the knight closer to the black's king and attack the bishop on e7. Bishop to d8, very natural response, and now queen to h4. Once again, you can see his ability to attack the opponent. So he doesn't want to get away with this bishop from c4, just straightforwardly he wants to attack the black king. B takes on c4. Smyslov say, okay, if you will mate me, okay, but if not, I will most probably win this game. And now he starts to attack the black king, and you can see the moves and the idea that he get on the positions that he made. So queen g5, very strong move. He wants to mate black on g7. Knight to h5, very nice, and let's say one of the most tenacious moves here. The second is of course g6, but knight to h5, and now if queen takes on h5, then knight to f6, and probably bishop to f5 will get the winning position for black. Knight to h6, it's a check. King to h8, and queen takes on h5. And now queen to a2. It looks like black is closer to the mate than white, because queen a1 is mate. Bishop to c3, white doesn't get mated. Knight came to f6, and this was here the mistake, and black can stay here in the equality with bishop f6, or maybe bishop to c7, just by covering the e5 square. So eventually he made here the big mistake by knight to f6, and on the first it doesn't look that he's lost, but now Misha find perfect move that makes or that win this game. And of course you can stop this video and try to find the move, and I will now show you this let's say magician an ability, and you'll see how white win the game. So here white take with queen on f7, sacrificing the queen on f7. Eventually he wants to mate the opponent, because if rook takes on f7, then rook d8 and rook f8 or rook g8 will mate the black. So after queen a1, he tried queen a1, king d2 and rook f7, and now it looks like black escaped from mate on d8, but after knight takes on f7, king to g8 and rook take on a1, white take the exchange and win this game in a couple of moves. So after king f7, knight d5, king e6, knight c6, knight d4, check, king e3, bishop to b6, and bishop d4, black resign, and you see one more great game from Mikhail Tal. Now As something like conclusion, we can say that we always just wants to play attacking and take the initiative whenever we can, and this is something that you need to do, and Tal does also. Sacrifice without the fear, in some occasion even the queen, as Tal does, and if you can, just try to launch mating attacks just like the great magician from Riga.